Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland for Hip Kit Club, and today I am making a layout using the really gorgeous January kits. This is the first layout I've made with them. It's the first time I've had them. I'm so excited to use them. They're full of beautiful pastel colours, lots of Pink Fresh Studio in this one, the brand new collection that no one else has got yet. And my assignment today, it's Mixed Media Monday, so my assignment for today was to focus on the January colour kit. So in the colour kit there are 3 Lindy's Magicals, 2 are the regular Magicals and 1 is a flat one, which means it has less sparkle. So I have mixed up my first colour of Magicals with some water. So it's the lime green one, so really lovely vibrant lime green. Lime green is one of my favourite colours, so it was really nice to see this in the kit. And I'm just mixing that up with some water on a piece of packaging, and I'm pressing that into a piece of marshmallow cardstock. I use marshmallow because I'm going to have a reasonable amount of water on this layout, and I just wanted to make sure that my cardstock would be up to the job and not warp too much. So I've used the first colour, which is the really lovely vibrant lime green. And now I'm using the pink one. So again, I've done exactly the same thing. I've mixed it up with some water onto a piece of packaging, and I have pressed that onto my background. I'm now adding some splatters as well. I did that with the green too. And I dried the green with my heat tool for a minute prior to adding the pink one, just so that my colours didn't mix too much. So they have mixed. I have got pink over the top of green, but they haven't mixed together and made a muddy brown colour, so that's all good. And the third colour I'm just adding now is the silver one. It's come out a little bit purple. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be, or if it's because I had some pink on my paintbrush and it's gone purple because of that reason. I'm not entirely sure, but I really like the colour. It looks really lovely. And again, I've just done the same thing, mixed up with some water, and put it onto a piece of packaging and pressed it directly down onto my marshmallow background, and then added some splatters as well. I just add my splatters using a paintbrush. I find that's the easiest way. Sometimes I need to add a bit more water to the paint mixture before I can pick it up and flick it with my paintbrush. But most of the time I find that what I apply using the packaging technique I can just pick up with my paintbrush and splatter. So I'm just getting that dry, and the next thing I'm going to do is use the stencil. So the stencil is by Echo Park, I believe. And it's a really pretty one. It's got lots of dots on in a crosshatch formation, so really super pretty. It's a spring collection, and I decided to use some texture paste through the stencil. So I've just picked up a white texture paste. It's one by Shimmers that I've got in my stash. It's glittery actually. It's called Putting on the Glitz. Really pretty, and I've mixed it with a small amount of each of the colours. So I just picked up a small amount of the of the white texture paste and put it on my craft sheet, and then picked up a small amount of the powder from the green Lindy's Magical, and mixed that with my texture paste using a palette knife. So I've done that with the green, and now I'm doing exactly the same thing with the pink, and I'm putting this on colour. So the green one went over the green area that had been applied using the packaging technique, and the pink's going over the pink, and the silver or purple is going over the silver patch. So yeah, just what I'm doing is I'm cleaning my craft sheet in between. I really pulled out a tiny amount of texture paste because I didn't want to waste it. I tend to mix up too much texture paste whenever I do this technique, and then I really hate the wastage. So I thought I'd pull out just a really tiny amount of each colour, and then I can hopefully use all of it onto the layout, and not have any wastage. And I actually achieved that really, really well. There was a small amount left on my palette knife each time, of course, but other than that, it was perfect. So yeah, I've just done that on all 3 colours, and just cleaning up my craft mat, my stencil, my palette knife now, and then I can put away my mixed media. I've now just switched to a few hours later when it was dry. I think I may have actually used my heat tool a little bit, but also I had to go and do something, so I literally just left it on my desk and then came back to it a couple of hours later. So that was good. And then I thought, I wasn't sure at this point what photo I was going to use. I tried a few different options. I wasn't quite sure. The colours were very vibrant, the green, the pink and the purple or the silver, and I wasn't quite sure what photo would work, so I tried a few different options. On this, normally I start with my photo and I know what I'm going to do prior to making my backgrounds, but on this occasion I didn't. I made my background and figured I would choose a photo later. So I happen to have lots of holiday photos from when I was away in Florida over Christmas, and I have some pool photos and some sunny photos and beach photos, so all of those worked well with this bright, vibrant background. So I have chosen a group photo of all of us on our last day in the sun prior to going home. It was a lovely photo as well, selfie. So I thought I'd just do something slightly different. Normally I wouldn't include a large area of pattern paper on a mixed media background layout because I usually like to kind of show off the mixed media, but I thought I'd try something different today and put a strip of pattern paper across the layout. So this is a bit of a bold move for me because of course it covers up the mixed media, and that is always a problem when I do mixed media. I never seem to do it big enough and then I end up covering most of it up. So I've already done that effectively by putting this big strip across. However, the black and the white added such a great contrast. The vibrant colours with the pop of black was just awesome. So the black and white stripe really worked well. And then I started pulling out all the black bits from the kit as well. So there's a couple of black and white journaling cards and some frames. And then I was really looking through the kits and the embellishments for colours the same as those in the background. Now they are very vibrant, whereas most of the kit this month is quite pastel. So it was slightly challenging finding the right colours, but that bright pink journaling card was great. One of those tags, the pocket tags, had that lovely green on. It's not quite as green, lime green, as the paint on the background, but it went really well. And then at this point I decided to introduce some yellow. So I was initially trying to stick to the green, the pink and the silver, but I picked up that yellow journaling card and I just thought it looked great against those colours, so I went ahead and used it. So I've just stuck my frame, one of the frames, over the journaling card and trimmed it down. Those frames are adhesive, so that was really easy to do. Literally just stuck it onto the card and then cut around it with my scissors. And then the other part of the journaling card I have got poking out of the left side of the photo. So just to bring it in a bit more of that colour, so rather than just the one pop of yellow, I thought I'd bring in a bit more elsewhere as well. So yeah, just carrying on doing that. I initially had pink in that frame, but it didn't look right because I'd got the pink journaling card behind the photo and quite a lot of it showing. So that's why I had changed that, and the yellow just really spoke to me, so I went for that. So right now I'm kind of happy with the formation of the layout generally, but I wanted to add a title. So there's a number of different titles in this month's kit. So the Pink Fresh Studio puffy not thickers alphas are awesome. The phrases, these ones here, are really cool, but there was also some in the ephemera pack, so I toyed with the idea of the first one, which was Happy Go Lucky, which went well with the photo, but also this puffy one in yellow, Sunny and Bright, was ideal, so I decided to go for that one. However, putting the skinny font on top of the black and white stripes that are super bold, it didn't show up properly. So what I'm doing is just sticking those alphas onto a scrap piece of white cardstock, and then I'm just trimming around the edge with my scissors, and that just means that the word stands out really, really well. It means that the black and white stripe doesn't show through the gaps in the letters, so in between each letter, as well as like in the middle of the S and in the middle of the loop of the Y, and that just worked really well. It made it stand out so much better. You really couldn't read it when it was just directly onto the black and white. So yeah, that was a really great way of making those letters stand out against that background. They would have been fine on white, but they were really lost on the black and white stripe. So that was definitely a good way around that. So I'm now doing the same with the word bright. I also do the same with the plus sign as well. So sunny and bright, the and is represented by a plus sign. I did think about not mounting that because it didn't doesn't have any gaps in it. I thought it would be okay, but actually it looked wrong against the other two words that were mounted. So I've done that one as well. Just took me a few minutes to carefully trim around these letters. Yeah, so it's a really good tip to do that. You can do it with thickers as well, or single alphabet stickers. It doesn't have to be the branded thickers, but alphabet stickers that are separate rather than words. It works well for those too. So if you have a skinny font, that's a really great way of making your titles stand out if you're putting them on top of a busy background. Okay, so I've stuck everything in place now. I've also been through my ephemera packs and pulled out those flags to the left of the photo, and now I'm using those cute little chipboard flare buttons. They are great. I think this is absolutely the way forward with flare. Chipboard, fantastic. So rather than the metal flare that had been some of them had been going rusty. I look back at my layouts from years ago and quite a few of them are rusty, which is really sad. So definitely the chipboard flare have got my vote, 100%. Well done, Pink Fresh. So I've just added a couple of those. The top one above the photo says better together, and that's pink, and the one to the left of the photo in aqua says relax, so that works well. Those two phrases work really well for my layout. So I'm now just going through the bows, beautiful bows from Pink Fresh, and I've just made one up. However, it actually doesn't end up on the layout in the end because it was just too big. I really liked it. I really liked how it looked, but everywhere I put it, it just looked a bit clumsy. So in the end, it's been discarded and it will get used on a different layout instead. It was such a shame because I really wanted to use it. The colour was perfect, but unfortunately, I brought it in a bit too late. It was too big to just tuck in somewhere. Because the layout was quite busy already. So yeah, I just had to put that away for later. It stays on the layout for a little while, and then I have to move it in the end. Okay, so just still going through now and adding last few details to the layout. I have added some another set of flags over on the right hand side that kind of balanced out the flags on the left side, and that worked well with the whole big strip across the layout as well. Kind of ends up looking like a bit of a banner. It wasn't my intention to do it that way, but that worked out pretty well. So now I say I'm still fiddling with that bow. Now I'm just trying to work out if I need anything more. I wanted to bring in more pops of the vibrant pink, and these Lucky Us by Pink Paisley ones worked really super duper well, and they were a great bright pop of pink there. So I was happy with how those were looking. I also wanted to add a little bit at the top there to balance out my layout. The top part of the layout looks a little bit sparse, so I just cut a small V shape and put another piece of the black and white pattern paper behind it, and then that gave me kind of like a vertical line then to aim towards. So my layout stretches up towards that V and stretches down towards the hearts that I put right at the bottom as well. So now I'm just adding in some last bits. So just put some flowers into one of the tag pockets, and just putting some word stickers in place, so life is good, and the word refresh, which I moved around a couple of times, didn't look quite right where I put it, so I moved it. I've also got the ephemera at the bottom there that says group photo. It's a black piece of ephemera and looks really cool. It goes well with the layout. So just added some extra final splatters, and I also wanted to bring in some more pops of black. So I used some black Indian ink that I've had in my stash for quite some time. It's carefully wrapped in multiple layers of plastic to make sure that it doesn't leak all over my bag. Yeah, I got that out, and I added some rather large droplets and some smaller splatters as well. That just added to the drama of the black and white layout. Okay, so that's me done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this layout, and you can get all of the Hip Kit Club kits on the Hip Kit Club website, along with free cut files as well. Thank you so much for joining me. That was Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.